All right, guys. I think that we are live here. It certainly says that we're live at least. Um, so, guys, today I'm joined by a friend of mine. He's from the Red Fury supporters group. He's a good man. He's also a Manchester United fan, so be sure to follow him on Twitter. This is Michael Vanderplas. Michael, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. A little bit nervous, but pretty good for the most part.
Oh, dude, you're all good, and honestly, the people are gonna love you. So we're gonna jump right into this. So, Mike, we were both at that match in Orange County. Talk about that experience a little bit for a second.
It was amazing, man. We took over that stadium. We scored within the first 2 minutes, so the whole match was pretty enjoyable because we were up the whole time. Got a little bit nervy at the end there, but we pulled it out, man.
Yeah,
that last shot that was saved was scary.
that did add a little bit of that fear factor to it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like I think we were all kind of holding our breath because they had that little bit of like that volley back and forth. But man, we all 1,000 of us were probably, I would say, up for it for minute 1 to minute 90.
Yeah, and I think we had all hopped over the railing by that point. We were over by the ad boards when he saved that, so that would have been pretty bad if that would have went in and we're just stuck there.
Yeah, it would have been a little bit funny, but yeah, we definitely took over that stadium, and very rightfully so. And it was funny to see just how upset their supporters group was with us storming the field. Like, what do you expect? Come on now.
Yeah, I was watching one of their podcasts today, and they're talking about how the ref was our MVP and how we were flopping all over the place. It just reeks of saltiness.
Oh yeah, reeks of saltiness. And in all reality, I think that the game was pretty fairly called both ways.
Yeah,
like I sat down and I watched the game again, and it didn't to me look like anybody got more favorable calls than the other, just as trying to be objective as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, let's talk about this upcoming match because this is by far our biggest match to date.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean,
should be a fun game, man. It took a little bit out of it that both Cortez and Lancaster both going to be out, so that takes away 2 of the top strikers in the league. But it should be fun, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, I mean, you feel like that's the soccer gods, if you want to say, they certainly are evening things out for the match.
Even out a little,
because it will be sad to not have our lead striker in this match, somebody that has gone over the total goals if scored for the entire club history.
Yeah.
And Chris has been absolutely amazing for us, and especially down the stretch. But it's just going to open up opportunities for people like Jason Johnson and Solomon Asante to have to step up their game a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if Drogba will be ready after like 4 days of rest. We'll probably see Frater start today. Free Frater, got to throw that in there. But we'll probably see Frater start today because I don't know if Drogba is all the way ready to go full 90 again.
So let me ask you this, Michael. So, I mean, everybody's got different opinions on how things should be running. But, I mean, Drogba has been our leader. He's been everything for the club. I mean, on top of being an owner, you have to throw that in there too. But do you think that the squad is potentially better on 4 days rest without having Drogba in the starting lineup and him coming on as somewhat of like a quote-unquote super sub?
A week ago, I would have said that. A week ago, we were struggling offensively, or going into the playoffs, we were struggling offensively with him in there. But he scored in 3 straight games, so I can't really. And this one was late in the game, in like the 80th minute when he was pretty tired. So it seems like the team is gelling around him. I think that he adds a lot of leadership on the team. I don't think we'll miss him as much if he's not playing because we have a lot of good players. But
yes, Yes, that is for sure. And with having as many international players as we do, we have people that are ready to step up into the spotlight and do what they need to do. Because the one thing that I think we can all say that if you've watched Phoenix Rising at all, we are deadly on the counter.
Yep.
We have got players that just have the pace, the tenacity, and the determination to make things happen.
Insane amount of speed. And if you throw Freighter in there today, it's going to be even more speed.
Yeah. Yeah, which opens us up even more, and it'll make them have to sit back a little bit further. Because the one thing I have noticed going into the playoffs is that we have not been pressing as high as we have been in most recent, like in our most recent games coming up to the playoffs. That was something that, as like trying to be like I try to watch games as objectively as possible. And when Drogba came into the lineup, I mean, I noticed that we weren't pressing as high, and I know that part of that is because let's be honest, he's a 40-year-old man, and he just doesn't have the same speed as he did when he was in his prime.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's something that we can all kind of just sit back, and we're just all I think this is gonna be an absolutely phenomenal game of football, soccer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, he was falling back and defending this weekend though. It surprised me a lot, but he was defending a lot this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He did an absolutely fantastic job. So, I mean, in all honesty, I would say the entire team has been doing a fantastic job. So, Mike, I mean, I don't know much about Louisville City. I know that you know, by my comparison, a lot more about them. What can you tell us about Louisville City FC?
So they've got a pretty good center attacker, Speedy Wright. He's a Jamaican as well. I think he's added like 5 goals in this year and like 9 assists or something. I'm just going off the top of my head, so I could be completely wrong. So since Lancaster's not playing today, they'll probably play Elijah. I think his last name is Iliak or something like that. He's had like 13 goals this year, and he's usually who they play when Lancaster's not playing. I was going through their results when Lancaster's not playing, and it looks like they picked up a lot of draws when he's not playing. So could be really good for us. They've got a lot of people that can score, but with him out, I think it favors well for us. They've got this guy Brian Owensby, who scored like 3 goals in the playoffs so far. So he's on pretty good form as well.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, both teams are going to be coming into this thing so hot. I mean, we one thing you could say is that no matter what happens, when you come into a final like this, I think all form goes out the window, and it's just about whatever game plan you can come up with. Because, and I honestly believe in Rick Shantz to come up with the best game plan possible for the squad that he will run out there. Because in all honesty, I don't even know how they're going to run out this squad today because, like you said, I'd heard that Chris was potentially injured, which that is a big blow for us. He was our leading goal scorer all year long, and he manages to always pop up with that big goal whenever we needed it. So it's a big blow, but it's just, at the same time, like you said, it's a big blow for Louisville to lose their top striker as well. So, and I think that at the same time, just because I know our team so well, I know that we have the players behind Chris to be able to come in and fill those roles and do what they need to do to come up with that win.
Yeah, absolutely. They do have one other guy that made the USL Team of the Year, one of their center backs. But we're pretty even on them on goals allowed this year. I think our defenses are pretty even. That the USL Team of the Year kind of had an Eastern Coast bias, which you understand because our games are playing at 10 o'clock their time, so they see like highlights or whatever. They don't see the same players as they do on the East Coast. I think defensively we're about the same as them.
Yeah, honestly, I would agree with that because I did go through and I looked at like some of the overall stats for the year. I mean, in all reality, we're pretty much an equal team when it comes to the stats of the season. You throw the quotes around that, the stats of the season, and this is about as evenly matched of a game as you could possibly come up with. And at the same time, I think this is the two best teams that were in the USL all year long going against each other. I know that, obviously playoffs, things can happen, but this was, in my opinion, is the two best teams going against each other in the finals, which you can't really ask for much more than that.
Yeah.
So, Mike, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into our projected lineups for this upcoming game.
Okay.
Like you said, I think there's going to be at least two changes for Phoenix Rising in this upcoming match. So, Mike, what is your projected lineup coming up?
So we'll start with Waz at the back. Go with Saad. We'll go with Joy Farrell, Blackman. We'll go with Amadou Dia on the left there. The midfield they'll probably stick with Colin Fernandez and Kevin Lambert, and then Solo as an attacking midfielder, I think. Then on the wings, they'll probably put Shaft and JJ, and then I think they'll put Kevon up front there.
And honestly, I'm not going to go much different from you. The one thing that I will change is, so I'm going to go with Waz at the back. I mean, obviously, you're going to have Amadou Dia, who he's been our rock all year long. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he's only missed like one or two starts all year long. Mm-hmm. So,
and those were probably when he was on a red card.
Yeah, exactly. It was when he was on a red card. So, like, he's been our rock all year long. And honestly, Dia, we can't say enough about you. So, Amadou, we love you. I'm going to go with Blackman and Farrell at the back. I mean, they're pretty much consistent right now. You got to love it. And then I'm going to go with the same, that we're going to get Saad on the right. You can't take out Fernandez and Lambert. And especially Lambert. Lambert there's another person that's been our rock all year long. Like we've talked about it, privately, but Kevon's somebody that the sky's the limit for him. And if he can, continue his progression, I could see him going so much further than even just the MLS.
Yeah, he's got all the skills, everything to be a top midfielder. He doesn't get near enough credit. He's a big dude, extremely tall. He's filled out. When he first got there, he was getting used to his height. The ball would get caught in his feet a little bit. He was a little bit like a baby giraffe running around out there. But he's got it down now, gotten used to that height, and it's insane. He can pass really well. He can find you with crosses. He's gonna be a top midfielder for somebody.
No, definitely. I mean, and he really does fill that, to talk about Manchester United for a second, he kind of does fill that, Michael Carrick role for the team very, very well. That he breaks up the play and he can put in a pass, and especially when he's on his top form. Like I remember, I think it was a game against OC where I was sitting in the suites that are there, and I was up above, and I actually remember watching Kevon Lambert put in that pass for Cortez, who put it in on the volley.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he can find the ball over the shoulder extremely well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So the one change that I'm going to go from you is that I'm going to say that probably Awako is probably going to play as the 10 in this game. I think that Rick is probably going to go with more experience to start.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that you're going to get Solo on the right. You're going to get Johnson on the left. And then, like you said, I think we're going to get Frater up top. I do think that Drogba will sub in early. I'm thinking that probably around between the 50th and 60th minute, depending on how the game's going. But, I mean, we both know what Drogba does to this team in terms of leadership. So I wouldn't even be shocked to see him starting, even though maybe it wouldn't necessarily be like what we expect. I could see him starting in this match.
Yeah, I would like better if he came off the bench. You put him in the important moments at the end of the game where he could find something and put it in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mike, I mean, we've both been there all season long. I know that, I don't think you've missed a match, if I remember correctly. Um, yeah, I know that I've missed a couple, the one for England and then another one because of my job. But Mike, tell us a little bit about your relationship with the club, especially with you being with, the supporters group that's honestly been there since back like when they were the Phoenix Wolves.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. So tell us a little bit about, the Red Fury, because I know that people in the chat would definitely love to hear about that.
Okay, so we were La Furia Roja beforehand. We've been around since the Wolf days for about 6 years. We changed in the off season to the Red Fury, make it a little bit more noticeable, I guess. We just needed to switch some things up, I guess. So the ownership before weren't very involved. He tried as much as he could. He spent as much on marketing as he could. Once we got the new ownership, everything started changing. They've been a lot more engaged with us. Rappaport has been he comes and spends time with us anytime he's down for it. He loves being in the supporter section. We love having him. So it's gotten a lot more engaged since this new ownership group.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I can completely agree with, and I think we both can honestly shout out this ownership group overall, because I mean you could see, just from being there in OC, you saw all the owners come out onto the field, and you just saw how excited they were for this team. And I mean, honestly, especially after the news, I mean, that's something we can even talk about too, with the news of coming out from San Diego about them denying Soccer City. This ownership group is absolutely perfect for bringing in MLS to Phoenix. And that's something I know a lot of people that are inside of this chat have talked about, is the possibility of Phoenix getting that MLS bid. I mean, Mike, how confident are you now, especially after that vote coming down from San Diego, that we're going to get that next MLS bid?
I'm a lot more confident now that San Diego isn't in it. I believe we do have the right ownership group. Like you said, they were all out on the field with us. I tried to get Burka to do the Galatasaray chant. He wasn't having it. But yeah, I think that we've got a really good TV market here, a really good population, good mix of the community. I think that we would do well in the MLS. We would obviously get a bunch more people into the games. They've got a pretty good stadium rendering there. I like it a lot. I like the outdoors and how they're trying to find different ways to cool the stadium without making it a dome.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of the plans that I've seen, because if I remember correctly, they're almost going to use somewhat of like an aqueduct system, if I remember correctly, like where there's going to be water flowing down on the sides, and that the wind coming in is going to help kind of create like that, quote unquote, like swamp cooler effect in a sense.
A water wall. They got a water wall going on there.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember I was trying to find the plans to be able to share out on Twitter of like everything about the stadium, but I haven't found like the solid plans that I saw earlier in the year. But you guys, this is a chance for you to ask some questions, because I mean, Mike is in and around the team very, very often, and honestly, like I love talking to Mike about Phoenix Rising and honestly Manchester United, because I mean we both are a part of this here. You guys see this flag right here? That's what we're both a part of, and at the same time, we're both Phoenix Rising fans. And I know for Mike, Phoenix Rising is always going to come first for him. So if you guys have any questions, this is the guy to ask, because he will be able to answer you questions nonstop all day.
I'm not even sure how to pull up the chat on here, but
you have to go to like the YouTube link. But I mean, if anybody does, respond to anything, they're more than welcome to.
Okay.
Like I know I saw one person. Let's see here. Yeah, so that actually was Mark Curtis that was kind of asking. He said, "What's the latest on getting to the MLS? Something to do with the ground." Yeah, and we did go over that a little bit for you there, but yeah, we're honestly, I know Mike and Mike, you're going to be there tonight, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just said I'll be there.
Yeah, so just in case you guys didn't know, in case you guys haven't seen on my Twitter feed, Phoenix Rising is putting on a stadium watch party for this game. They're bringing in the massive screens, and they're going to make it so anybody that wants to come down to the stadium can. They're doing happy hour pricing on everything for food and drinks. It's going to be an amazing, amazing time. But
yeah, that's really cool that they just let us on the field to watch the game and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, Mike, you know what? We're not really getting a lot of questions, but that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and give our final thoughts here. So, Mike, give me some of your final thoughts, and what is your score prediction for tonight?
All right. It's been a great year, man. I couldn't have expected this at the beginning of the season. I knew we would be better. I didn't know we would be this much better. So just looking forward to tonight. Was just thinking, just letting it all sink in. I think that the final score will be 3-2 that we'll win. I think it'll be semi-high scoring, but I think we'll come through with it in the end, and we're going to free freighter tonight.
Free freighter, baby. I know you've got the free freighter crew ready and raring to go tonight. So
yeah, he's going to score the winner.
You got the freighter winner. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, I mean, guys, this really has been an absolutely incredible year. I mean, big ups to Red Fury, the Banditos, both supporters groups. I mean, you guys have brought it all year long, and I know you're going to bring it tonight. I know that some people have made the trip out to Louisville, which is a big trip for a lot of people. So, you know, shout out to if you guys are watching this from Louisville, shout out to you guys, because you guys have made a huge trip. I know Monica's there. I know Kevin's there. So I hope you guys are watching this and you get the chance to see, you know, Mike and I talking about this club that we all come to love so much. But I honestly can feel it, guys. I can feel the championship coming to Arizona. I can feel it coming to Arizona. I'm going to go with the same score we just had in the last game. I'm going to go 2-1. I think that I actually think that we will get another Drogba goal. And funny enough, as we're about to wrap this up, so Ryan asked, do you think Drogba will be done after this season? Mike, I know that you were kind of making some comments about that on Twitter today. Do you think that Drogba is going to be done after this season?
I think he'll be done after this season. He had some curious things to say in the presser yesterday. He said something about bringing what he's learned back to his home country in the near future, and that he had received some calls after the last game. I think right now he's riding a high, but by the end of the offseason, he'll understand he's going to be 41 years old, and he doesn't offer as much as he used to. Yeah. So I think he will stick around with us. I think he'll go back to Africa, start work in the Ivory Coast, and do like a ownership thing from wherever he's at in the world that day.
You know what? Honestly, that's a good way to put it too. Just wherever he's going to be at, that's probably he's going to go back to international duty. That's funny, Mr. Exclusive. I honestly could see Drogba going back to his home country and being a coach. Just my thoughts personally. I mean, I could even see him staying here and being a part of the coaching group here if he wanted to. I mean,
I honestly. Oh, sorry.
No, you're okay. No, go ahead, Mike.
I honestly think that there will be a day when he is the president of the Ivory Coast.
You know what?
He has that country on his fingertip, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So I mean, Ryan Beal is asking great questions here. I mean, this will be the last question we'll take, because I know that, you know, Mike and I both have some things we've got to get done today. So, Mike, Brian Beals just asked, if you guys reach MLS, what do you think is the realistic expectations for the first season?
Just to stay competitive. I mean, so it's kind of hard now because LAFC and Atlanta have both like blown teams out of the water with their expansion teams, and then there's teams like Orlando City that don't do very well. I think that we have the ownership that will be able to scout enough big players that will be competitive. I think we could make playoffs in the first year, maybe take a few years to challenge for the title or whatever, but I think we'll be all right with the ownership that we have.
And you know what, Mike, I completely agree with you, sir. No, I mean, as long as we've got this ownership group in place, I think we've got a chance to compete, because combined with the fact with the ownership group that we've got Sam Doors, he's just been absolutely class for the entire organization. And what him and his team have done is absolutely amazing. So Sam, big shout out to you, man. You've done more for the sport in this state than you could ever know. So, but Mike, go ahead, and if you want to shout out any details that you want to shout out, feel free to go ahead and do that.
Okay. And the best social media director in the league, Jose Bosch.
That's, you know what, my bad on that, because Jose is the one that kind of linked me up with the USL. So Jose, big shout out to you too. I know you guys are there in Louisville, so have fun today.
All right, and so if anybody's coming out to the match today, we'll have some Red Fury people out there. Come say what's up to us or whatever. Also, Phoenix Red Devils. If you're a Manchester United fan here in Phoenix, come join us at the Georgian Dragon. We got a huge game this weekend on Sunday, 9:30. We'll be at the Georgian Dragon in downtown Phoenix to take on the City Bitters.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fun match, and all form out the window, Mike. It's going to be a good one. So, Mike, I know I threw your Twitter link inside of the bio or inside the description for this video. Be sure to follow Mike on Twitter. He's a fantastic follow. Guys, thank you so much for joining us live. We actually had quite a few people join us live for just some small USL team that's, they're fighting their way through. And thank you so much, guys. God bless you guys. I love you guys. Genuinely, thank you so much. Mike, thank you for joining me, sir.
Yes, sir.
I can't, we are genuinely appreciative of you guys. Have a great night, great day, and let's go Phoenix Rising. Let's go.
Rising. Free Freighter.
Free Freighter, baby.